This is my great pleasure to talk here at the Japan FinTech Festival. And indeed, this is a part of the first Japan FinTech Week, which this Japan FinTech Festival is an important part of it. In any case, hello everybody, good morning. And I hope you enjoyed this great weather and also this great venue. Have you read the brochure about this place? This is a place called Kandamyojin. This shrine was established more than 1,000 years ago. It's before this city becomes a capital city. But for this past 1,000 years, this is a place of worship among total people around here, and this trust that people around here have in this place never changed. And probably you have also seen the brochure. Such a building was reconstructed several times because of fire and others. But even though these buildings were reconstructed, but still the trust was never waived. I think this is a important lesson for us who's in charge of finance. Maybe history of finance is less than 1,000 years, but we all know that trust is very important for finance. And like here, as a building has been reconstructed many times, the feature or the mechanism or the technology the finance is using is also changing very rapidly. But the importance is that as the trust is a key of finance, then how we should maintain trust in finance. This is also the theme of my brief presentation today, just less than 20 minutes. And also, I have to do my pitch for Japan and for this Japan FinTech Week. So what I can talk about this trust is be less than 15 minutes, but let me try. Before getting into the main theme, let me share my secret. I'm standing here as if I'm veteran and expert of fintech. But to tell you the truth, I have been in charge of fintech just for 3 years. Well, of course, fintech is relatively new, and it has been probably the history of fintech would be 10 years or 15 years. But it's been changing a lot. Well, if you can think back of 5 years ago, how was the fintech scene there? Well, we may be talking about Bitcoin, right? And we may be talking about blockchain a little bit. And of course, we were talking about open banking. But are we talking about generative AI? Probably not. Are we talking about quantitative computing? Well, some some scientists or some sci-fi were talking about those. But probably, we didn't think, this is a practical issue. But, now we are here. The world is changing so fast. And, since, as I said, in my, short, 3 years career of, in charge of fintech, I have seen so many changes and so many potentials. But, we, as a regulator, and also you, most of you, who are in the private business or private industry, that our goal shouldn't be changed. Our goal is maintaining trust to finance and fintech. And the important and what I want to try here to say is, how we regulator and supervisor can help maintain trust in finance. So who we are? We are financial services agency. Well, this is brand new. I just got this yesterday. We prepared this for this Japan FinTech Week. But this shows we try to change ourselves. We try to adapt to changing technology, changing business, and changing style of finance. But anyways, so may not just talk about striking balance between risk and potential. and the regulation and the supervision is sort of tools to do that. Can you go back to the place as a slide before? Yeah. And here, what we are saying, that FSA engaging in financial regulation with the aim of enhancing national welfare through sustainable corporate and economic growth and stable asset building by achieving a balance between 1, 2, 3. So it's always balance. Now, how to strike a balance using sort of regulation and supervision is always key for us. Can you go to the next slide, please? Yes. Of course, innovation. We took this from a Cambridge dictionary, so probably you all know what innovation means and what regulation means. But probably we may have different ideas. If you multiply innovation by regulation, what will happen? And what I want to say here is, what we are trying to do here is creating trust and making finance or making financial technology or making fintech. So good for people, good for society, good for economy, and maybe good for sort of environment and good for future generation. That's what we are trying. And here I'd like to show a few examples how innovation and multiplied by regulation makes a sort of business prosperous. Can you go to the next slide, please? Well, here I will talk about sort of 3 areas. The first is payment service providers. Well, you can think of this as a sort of open banking. Well, we created the act sort of regulating, payment service in 2010. Well, before that in Japan, only sort of money transfer service was can be done by banks. So basically, we sort of deregulated it and sort of allowed other players come into money transmission business. What had happened since then? Less than 15 years. You can see here. So there is a sort of exponential growth, both in the sort of number of users and also the funds sort of transferred through this service. And if you are Japanese, or if you know, if you have been to this country quite often, you see or you realize that sort of cashless payment has increased quite a lot. And many of you might have now sort of heard about PayPay, Japanese cashless payment provider called Pay Provider. Actually, no, they are using the license for this payment service provider. Actually, no, this is a very sort of interesting story because, when we created this act almost 15 years ago, basically, we were thinking of sort of deregulating a kind of business which transfers from money from one person to another over, some sort of geographical distance, like PayPal or like Wise or like Revolut. But what has also happened in Japan is that many sort of cashless payment providers are using sort of this legal framework to provide cashless payment business. And under this regulation, basically, so the service provider needs to protect all the money they are receiving from their customer. So this gives a sort of important sort of trust or important sort of confidence to customers who are using this business. And also, if you can sort of talk to sort of Japanese service provider, I hope they say so, but they would tell you that being licensed by FSA is very good for their customers. Their customers would trust those businesses who are licensed by the FSA. So I think this is one reason. One reason why this kind of payment service providers has increased so much, because they are regulated, they are under our regulation. Can you go to the next slide? The next is crypto and blockchain. here the story goes a sort of same. For people to trust sort of this kind of sort of business, or even sort of other business, non-financial business, needs some kind of sort of regulation or supervised sort of framework to trust sort of financial sort of industry providing these kind of services. So in Japan, what we are doing here is basically, sort of we divided sort of this crypto world into three. The blue square is a sort of traditional, which used to be called sort of virtual currency. That now, they are called sort of crypto assets and tokens and other tokens other than stable coins and security tokens. This is sort of regulated under Payment Service Act, which is amended 2017. And now you see many sort of virtual asset service providers providing sort of businesses, providing service in this country. But in addition to that, we also created a legal framework for security tokens, which basically means transferable rights, which is sort of regulated under Financial Instrument and Exchange Act, which is also sort of electronically recorded. So based on these are sort of traditional sort of securities backed by blockchain technologies. And we created a legal framework for this in Financial Instruments and Exchange Act in 2020. And we have been sort of seeing a lot of sort of issuance in the primary market of this kind of sort of security tokens. And we also have sort of secondary exchange, which is so specializing in trading these security tokens last December. And finally, this slide, yes. Finally, the stable coins. Of course, if you know about sort of stable coins, you understand this is one of the most important this could sort of change a lot. I mean, this can sort of replace traditional kind of money. So we also created a sort of legal framework for this stable coins, basically sort of making sure that the money which is sort of, which is received by the issuers of stable coins will be safe and protected. And this act was drafted. This act was enforced in 2023, and now we hear a lot of sort of business industry and the business to creating some kind of stable coins in this country. Now, if you are onto the AI, compared to sort of other open banking or the crypto and blockchains, we still don't know how AI would sort of change the form of finance. And as Rabbi Menon sort of mentioned, we have made a few efforts to make sure how sort of generative AI can be useful and how it wouldn't harm harm the human society. The G7 leader statement on the Hiroshima AI process made sure that this AI development of AI should keep sort of humankind on the center. And this is a sort of guiding principle. This would be the guiding principle for us in sort of making sort of Japanese sort of regulation and framework, and also how we are sort of appealing to the international community. And in Japan, domestically, this just sort of 2 months ago, January 2024, AI guidelines for business was drafted and under public consultation right now. And here again, we made sure that the human-centric AI principle is in the guideline, and hope sort of this guideline make sort of easier for business to introducing AI into their service. And finally, on the sort of financial industry, that the industry group is now developing AI guidelines. So in general, we are sort of enhancing engagement with industry and the relevant ministry towards trustworthy use of AI in the sector. And sort of concluding sort of this theme of sort of of sort of crafting sort of regulation and supervision to sort of maintain trust, I would sort of appeal sort of everybody for further interaction and communication. As you all know, we are facing new technology, and we also know that how sort of people would use sort of this kind of new technology will be quite unclear. So we as a regulator needs information. Regulator needs interaction. So I really hope that occasion like this is a great place to make interaction and communication, and we have a better understanding. We have better understanding of ourselves. Finally, so let me move to the pitch part. Can you move to the next slide, please? Yes. As I said in the beginning, this is a part of the Japan FinTech Week. The core week being from today to the end of this week. And if you turn to the next page, please. This is first Japan FinTech Week and first global FinTech events organized by us. And as you see here, we have a lot of sort of events going on in Tokyo here, and also in Marunouchi. And many people sort of coming in the area of in the area of fintech, but not just from fintech industry, but also sort of traditional financial industries. And we also have some local excursions in Fukuoka and Osaka. Those two cities are also sort of very intent on sort of attracting sort of financial and fintech business. So if you have opportunity, that is a great place to go. And please turn to the next stage, and we have a number of sort of distinguished speakers here, and also the next slide. And probably you can just sort of glance on this, but we have a number of sort of events, with sort of different sort of features and different sort of emphasis. And next page, please. And all the people here has a sort of complimentary ticket for FinSum 2024. So FinSum, which means FinTech Summit, is a flagship FinTech conference for this Japan FinTech Week, and so we would welcome you to come to this FinSum. And the final page, and no, not this final page, and we also have a special FinTech set up a FinTech support desk during this FinSum. The people from JFSA would be probably wearing these. So if you see this one, people wearing this, please talk to them. They welcome sort of discussing with you in sort of many areas, including if you want to sort of come into Japan, we are always open. And yes, here is how to buy a ticket of other Japan FinTech Week events. So if you can sort of use your smartphone to check this QR code. And finally, why Japan? I wouldn't sort of explain all of these in details, but we are still one of the largest economy in the world, and we can assure you that our regulatory stability and transparency. And you can enjoy, what all Japan can offer here. This is a very great place to live and enjoy. And we also have a number of government incentives. So we all welcome you in Japan to do business in many variety. As a conclusion, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And I sort of repeat my plea that communication and interaction and discussion is very important, and so we should sort of continue this kind of interaction between all those who are sort of involved in finance and fintech. Okay, thank you very much.